So picture this, I wake up on Monday morning thinking, this is it, the week where everything finally goes my way. Spoiler alert, it absolutely did not. I opened my eyes, stretched like a champion, and immediately smacked my elbow on the nightstand so hard I swore I saw my ancestors waving at me. That should have been the first sign to just crawl back under the blanket and hibernate until Friday. But no, I got up. I marched into the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror, and said, "You are a winner." Meanwhile, my hair looked like it had been styled by an electric socket, toothpaste dripped down my shirt before I even left the sink, and I realized I had put my t-shirt on inside out. Winner indeed. I stumbled into the kitchen for coffee. Now, I don't know who invented coffee machines, but mine has a personal vendetta against me. I pressed the button like usual, but instead of filling my cup, it made that gurgling sound like it was summoning demons and then sprayed hot coffee straight onto my hand. My reaction was somewhere between a scream and a squeak, like a balloon being stepped on. And of course, that's the exact moment my neighbor walked by my window. He looked at me, I looked at him, my hand flapping like I was swatting invisible bees, and I thought, great, now he thinks I'm practicing interpretive dance at 7 a.m. Anyway, I finally got caffeine in my system, threw on my jacket, and ran out the door. Except I didn't notice the rip in my pants. You ever walk confidently down the street, headphones in, feeling like the main character in a movie, only to realize people are staring not because you look cool, but because your underwear is making a surprise public appearance? Yeah. That was me. On the bus, it got worse. I grabbed the pole, tried to look casual, and then the bus jerked forward so violently that my entire body slammed into the poor guy in front of me. He was holding a bag of groceries. A bag of groceries that did not survive the impact. Apples rolled down the aisle like it was the opening scene of a fruit-based action movie. One orange literally landed in the driver's lap. The man turned to me, his eyes saying, "You just destroyed my dinner," and all I could manage was, "At least it's organic." Not my best line. When I finally reached the office, I thought, okay, just sit quietly, work, and no one will notice you. But of course, technology had other plans. My laptop decided it was auditioning for a role in a horror film. The screen flickered, froze, and then blasted out full volume a YouTube ad I had accidentally left open the night before, an ad that shouted, "Are you tired of being a loser?" The whole office turned to look at me. My boss raised an eyebrow. And there I was, nodding like, yes, apparently the internet also thinks I need help. Lunch didn't go any better. I tried to microwave spaghetti. Easy, right? Wrong. Somehow I set the microwave to nuclear meltdown mode, because when I opened the door, spaghetti sauce exploded everywhere. Ceiling, walls, me, everything looked like a crime scene. My co-workers walked in just in time to see me standing there, red sauce dripping down my face like I'd lost a fight with a tomato. By the end of the day, I was exhausted. I just wanted to go home, crawl into bed, and reset. But no, life wasn't done with me. On my walk back, it started raining. Not a gentle sprinkle. I'm talking full Hollywood disaster movie downpour. I didn't have an umbrella, so I tried using my briefcase as a shield. It was not waterproof. My papers turned into papier-mâché art instantly. And because I was already soaked, I thought, what's the point, and just started laughing like a maniac in the middle of the sidewalk. People crossed the street to avoid me. And then, just as I finally reached my apartment door, dripping wet, pants ripped, briefcase destroyed, I dropped my keys down the storm drain. I stared at the drain, stared at the keys, and realized I had two options, cry, or start a new life as a man who lives outside. Naturally, I chose option 3, I shoved my arm into the drain, got stuck for a solid 2 minutes, and was rescued by an elderly woman who offered me a cookie afterward. That was just Monday. Monday. And trust me, if you think it can't get worse, oh, you're in for a ride. Because Tuesday made Monday look like a vacation. So Tuesday morning rolls around, and I wake up thinking, okay, Monday was a disaster, but no way 2 days in a row can be this bad. Oh, my sweet summer child. I should have known better. First, I overslept because my alarm clock decided to die in the night. No beeping, no buzzing, just silence. I opened my eyes, saw sunlight blasting through the window, and realized I had approximately 6 minutes to get dressed, eat, and sprint 3 blocks. Naturally, in my panic, I put on mismatched socks, spilled cereal all over the floor, and brushed my teeth with, wait for it, shaving cream. Yeah. That woke me up faster than coffee ever could. I stood there foaming at the mouth like a rabid dog, spitting into the sink, questioning all my life choices. But fine, I thought, new day, new start. I threw on a sweater, ran outside, and immediately realized I had put it on backward. The tag was scratching my throat, and people gave me that polite look like, do we tell him or just let him embarrass himself in peace? When I reached the bus stop, I noticed it was crowded. Like, Black Friday sale crowded. The bus pulled up, doors opened, and everyone surged forward. I got caught in the middle, squeezed tighter than a soda can in a trash compactor. At one point, I think I was carrying 3 people's backpacks without consent. By the time I got on, I couldn't even move my arms. My phone buzzed in my pocket, but I couldn't reach it. So I just stood there, pressed between 2 strangers, sweat dripping, looking like a very unwilling sandwich. Halfway to work, the bus hit a bump. And when I say bump, I mean it felt like the bus drove over a mountain. Everyone flew into the air for half a second, including me. And when I landed, somehow my face ended up pressed against the window in a way that left a full greasy imprint of my forehead and nose. The guy next to me laughed so hard he started crying. I wanted to disappear. By the time I stumbled into the office, I thought, okay, keep your head down. Just work. Don't draw attention. And of course, that's when I spilled coffee on my boss's chair. Not while he was gone. Oh no, while he was literally about to sit down. He lowered himself, sat in the puddle, jumped up like he'd been electrocuted, and glared at me with murder in his eyes. I tried to explain, it's just coffee, but judging by his face, it might as well have been acid. So I retreated to my desk, trying to hide. I opened my email, and the first thing I saw was an invitation to a mandatory team-building event. And let me tell you, nothing strikes fear into my heart quite like the phrase, mandatory fun. They had us all gather in the conference room for trust falls. You know, that exercise where you're supposed to fall backward and trust your coworkers to catch you? Yeah. Guess who got picked first? I crossed my arms, leaned back, and fell, and nobody caught me. Nobody. They all got distracted because the pizza delivery guy walked in at that exact moment. So I went straight to the floor like a sack of potatoes while everyone rushed past me shouting, "Pepperoni's here." By lunch, I was starving. I decided to treat myself to a burrito. Big mistake. The burrito was the size of my head, and the moment I bit into it, everything inside exploded onto my lap. Rice, beans, guacamole, salsa, I basically had a Mexican food crime scene all over my pants. People walking by gave me looks like I had lost a fight with a taco truck. I rushed to the bathroom to clean up, but of course, there were no paper towels. So there I was, crouched under the hand dryer, pressing my pants against it, when my boss walked in. He froze, stared at me drying my crotch under hot air, shook his head, and walked right back out. I wanted to yell, "It's not what it looks like," but let's be real, it looked exactly like the worst possible thing. After work, I thought, nothing else can happen, right? Wrong. I went to the grocery store, grabbed a basket, and for some reason the handle snapped. Groceries everywhere. A jar of pickles rolled down the aisle and smashed dramatically in front of a toddler, who immediately started crying like I'd ruined his entire childhood. An employee came over, saw the mess, and handed me a mop. Me. The customer. I stood there in the middle of the store, cleaning pickle juice like I'd just been promoted to janitor without consent. By the time I got home, I was too tired to cook. I ordered pizza. Simple. Except the delivery guy tripped on my doorstep, the pizza box flipped open midair, and the pizza landed cheese side down on my welcome mat. We both just stared at it in silence for a good 10 seconds. He looked at me, shrugged, and said, 5-second rule. I paid him anyway. And as I sat there later, eating slightly carpet-flavored pizza off the floor, I thought, well, at least tomorrow is Wednesday. How bad could Wednesday be? Oh, I was about to find out. Wednesday started with hope. I woke up thinking, it can't possibly get worse than Monday and Tuesday. But that's the thing about life, it hears you say that and takes it as a personal challenge. I decided to take control. I put on my best outfit. Shirt ironed, tie straight, pants with no rips. I actually felt like a functioning adult for once. I strutted down the street like I was in a commercial. And then a bird pooped on my shoulder. Not a small dot. I'm talking a full aerial bombardment. The kind that makes you wonder if the bird had been saving it up for months just for this moment. I froze in the middle of the sidewalk, everyone staring, some people laughing. A kind lady offered me a napkin. I wiped it off, but the stain looked like modern art. I sighed and told myself, stay positive. But then I walked into the office and the receptionist immediately said, oh, rough morning? I hadn't even made it 5 feet inside before people noticed. Great. At my desk, I tried focusing on work. I opened a spreadsheet, typed a number, and hit enter. Except my computer froze again. The dreaded spinning wheel mocked me for 10 straight minutes. I whispered, please, not today, and gave the monitor a gentle tap. Then a harder tap. Then, in frustration, I smacked it. The screen went black. Dead. My boss walked by at that exact moment, saw me with my hand on the monitor, and said, you break it, you buy it. I don't even think that's how offices work, but in that moment, I believed him. Later, during a meeting, I was asked to give an update. Easy enough. I stood up, cleared my throat, and my voice cracked like a teenager. Everyone burst out laughing. I tried again, and my stomach made the loudest growling noise known to mankind. It echoed through the silent conference room like a bear waking from hibernation. My boss just stared at me, unimpressed, while my coworkers tried not to spit out their water. By lunch, I was starving. I thought, I'll play it safe, just a sandwich. I bit into it, and somehow mustard squirted out the other end, shooting across the table and landing directly on a coworker's shirt. Bright yellow. Right on his chest. He glared at me like I'd just committed a personal attack. I apologized, offered him a napkin, but somehow that made it worse. After work, I decided to hit the gym. Maybe exercise would fix my mood. Wrong. I got on the treadmill, pressed start, and the speed shot up to sprint mode instantly. I tried to keep up, legs flailing, arms windmilling, until I flew off the back like a human cannonball. I landed on the floor, groaning, while a group of bodybuilders tried not to laugh too loudly. One guy came over and said, "You okay, champ?" in the most sarcastic tone possible. Embarrassed, I moved to the weight section. I picked up a dumbbell, tried to look casual, but when I bent down to set it back, my pants ripped. Loudly. Echoing through the gym. Everyone heard. I froze, cheeks burning, and shuffled out of there like a penguin, refusing to make eye contact with anyone. That night, I thought, okay, forget today. Just go home, relax, watch TV. I sat down, grabbed the remote, pressed power, and the TV exploded with static. The sound was so loud my neighbor banged on the wall. I scrambled to fix it, tripped over the coffee table, and knocked over a glass of water, directly onto the remote. Dead. So now I had no TV, ripped pants, a bruised ego, and a bird-stained shirt in the laundry. As I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, I whispered, Thursday will be better. It has to be. But oh. Thursday was waiting with surprises I could never imagine. Thursday morning arrived, and I woke up already suspicious. After the week I'd had, I didn't trust the universe anymore. I got out of bed slowly, waiting for something to fall on my head. Surprisingly, nothing did. For the first time all week, I thought, maybe today's my lucky day. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. I got dressed carefully. No stains, no backward sweaters, no ripped pants. I checked the mirror 3 times like I was about to walk a fashion runway. Then, as I tied my shoes, the lace snapped. Just snapped. I stared at it in disbelief. Who breaks a shoelace at 8 a.m.? Apparently me. I grabbed an old pair of sneakers, shrugged, and headed out. At the bus stop, I decided to stand far away from everyone. No crowd, no chaos. But then a gust of wind blew so hard it turned my umbrella inside out like a broken satellite dish. People around me laughed, and one guy even said, "Classic movie moment." I wanted to tell him my entire life was a blooper reel at this point. When I finally got to work, I tried to keep quiet and invisible. No disasters, no coffee spills. I thought I was safe. Then came the email, company-wide presentation. You're speaking. My soul left my body. Me. After this week. Speaking in front of the entire company. But I had no choice. I walked up to the stage, palms sweaty, knees weak, yes, like the Eminem song, and started talking. At first, my voice shook. I stumbled over a few words. People giggled. But then something magical happened, I leaned into it. I made a joke about how my Monday felt like a horror movie, my Tuesday like a failed sitcom, my Wednesday like a blooper reel. People laughed. Real laughs. Not mean ones. I kept going, telling them about the bus chaos, the burrito explosion, the treadmill disaster. Every embarrassing moment that had haunted me all week suddenly became comedy gold. The room roared with laughter. And for the first time all week, I wasn't the butt of the joke, I was the storyteller. I was in control. The more I exaggerated, the harder they laughed. Even my boss cracked a smile, and I swear I saw tears of laughter in his eyes when I acted out the pizza landing cheese side down on my doormat. By the end, they were clapping. Cheering. Someone even shouted, "Encore." I bowed dramatically like I'd just finished a Broadway show. For once, the disaster of my life actually paid off. After work, coworkers came up to me saying, "You're hilarious, and you should do stand-up." One even said, "I'd pay to hear more of your stories." And in that moment, something clicked. Maybe my bad luck wasn't just bad luck, it was material. Maybe my disasters weren't punishments, but punchlines. That night, instead of crying into my carpet-flavored pizza, I opened my laptop and searched open mic comedy near me. And guess what? There was one on Friday. I signed up immediately. Friday night, I walked onto that small stage at a dingy bar, heart pounding. The spotlight blinded me. The crowd stared. I took a deep breath and said, "Hi, my name's," insert your character's name, "and this week has been the worst of my life, but also the funniest." And I launched into the stories. They laughed. Harder than I ever imagined. Every bus disaster, every food spill, every gym fail, they loved it. By the end of the night, strangers were patting me on the back, telling me, "You've got something special." And for the first time, I realized, maybe my life isn't a mess. Maybe it's just the world's longest-running comedy show, and I'm the star. So yeah, the week that tried to break me, it actually made me. And from that moment on, every time something went wrong, when my shoelace snapped, when my coffee spilled, when I tripped over nothing, I didn't panic. I just smiled and thought, that's going in the next story. Because sometimes, the best punchlines are just life's disasters in disguise. The end.